I'm Robin Clevett. I'm here at the Building Crafts College in London. It's a place I've wanted to come to for a long time, not to retrain. I'm happy to have done my training, but to see the amazing work that the students and the lecturers do here, and I want to take you along. Come to talk a little bit about how things were when I was younger. So you're here, you're doing door linings, you're hanging doors and reusing doors. That's the hardest way, by the way. Reusing anything's hard because you've got to tidy it up before you've even got into it. So when I was at college, it was a marking gauge, it was a marking knife, it was a sharp chisel, and it was chopping the butts out, you know, as normal. But at the time, we only ever used softwood doors. Moulded hardboard doors, they're the ones that have got like a, you know, you can see the edges in here. They were just coming in the sort of 80s and 90s. They were becoming fashionable and becoming cheap. Everyone was getting them. And so even when you were chopping those out, the softwood core was soft and that bit was hard. Even with a sharp chisel, it used to sometimes make a furry mess of the edge, even if you try to score it with a marking gauge and all the rest of it. So the lucky thing is, go forward 30 years, we're into technology. All of the tools are now battery tools. They're getting smaller and lighter and more powerful, and it's enabling us to do stuff completely differently. So whereas before, we'd get a nice softwood door and a sharp chisel and you could just bash away all day long and it would come out lovely and clean, the grain was good, it was good joinery timber. Now with mass-produced doors, it isn't like that anymore. So this door here is an engineered door. It looks like an oak engineered door. Sort of typical is what you find. If you put a chisel onto that and you start bashing away, the grain might go in a funny direction and all of a sudden you're in trouble. And it takes quite a time to do it. Guys and girls out on site, you have to be commercial these days, and you might see a hinge jig. So like a trend hinge jig, you'd clamp onto there, you'd use the dowel, spike it in, blah, 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 set it all up. So this is all you need for any kind of router. In fact, you can use any size of router. But the idea of it is, unlike a normal jig, which you have what we call a guide bush, which is always a bit bigger than the cutter, you have to set the jig out to suit that. With this, all you need to do, shoot your door in, mark your hinge positions on your lining or your door. So you might be 6 from the top, 9 from the bottom, and bang in the middle. And once you've got your marks, that is the edge of the hinge. So you just go like that and you'd clamp it straight on, something like this. There's your hinge mark. All right, so you clamp it on, and that's effectively what you'll be taking out. This is the 102 mil. That's roughly 4 inches in old money. Now, I'm going to be using some notes, so I will be referring back to this because, as I say, I'm not a public speaker. It doesn't come too naturally. First of all, I want to thank Paul Dowding, who reached out to me, said, would I be prepared to come down, have a look around, and have a chat with you guys and see what you're doing. And I love that sort of stuff. It's not every day you get invited to come and see the next generation of amazing craftspeople. And seriously, what I've seen today, what you're turning out, has pretty much blown me away, whether it's site carpentry, bench joinery, the fine woodworking. I've just had a quick look around there, and the stonework. It's just unbelievable. Quite often I walk around and I think to myself, how did they build London? You look at those historical buildings and there's roads and roads and roads of them. The joinery, the stonework. Could we ever do that again? Let's say we was in a terrible position and we had a war and something terrible happened. Could we do it, or would it all look like Canary Wharf in the future? Where it pushes together, this is a perfect example. Yeah. That's where your folding wedges go. The idea is, as you drive them home, it pushes the shoulders together. And this is exactly as the scarf joint should be. It's around about 3 times the overall height of the timber. It's got just a 90-degree shoulder here. Is there a distance in that you should be or shouldn't be? I always use the same thickness timber on its side. So I've marked my overall length. I pass them through. I can also get the wedges out of the same bit of timber, and that's how I do it. So that gives me about a 46mm shoulder here, which will take a mechanical fixing. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Did you make that one? Perfect job. Perfect job. But that is an amazing joint. But it's really nice for joining long members together that aren't under load. So a ridge board, a valley or a hip, if they've got some support, it's absolutely perfect.
So that can't be put under load, really?
You wouldn't want to join the joists together right in the middle, because it's designed to stop something pulling apart. You know, it's a gentlemanly way of joining something together, if you ask me, without just doing that.
Yeah, biting it, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and putting a scab in it, as the Americans say. Let's scab it together. Not in this country. So that's it. I've finished my day at the Building Crafts College in London. It's been an inspirational day, meeting so many craftspeople. They're doing some beautiful work here. This is the future of the construction industry in the UK.